is the study of the relationship between language and society, and how language relates to social structures. As we all know, language is context dependent, and its shape and form may be influenced by society, including main factors such as age, social class, gender, region, and culture. But how come that happened? Well, if you put Gen Z and Gen Alpha together, there is a high chance that they can understand each other. But if Gen Alpha meets a millennial, which they do not share the same humor with, they might not understand each other's joke. This proves that age is a strong factor in sociolinguistics. In terms of social class, you may notice the upper class may struggle to understand the lower class, and it can be applied vice versa. However, this could also be caused by regional and cultural differences, as their environment may have different vocabularies. Just like how our universal language may not be used as commonly as traditional language in certain regions, which is why commonly used words in upper class might sound uptight and more formal compared to lower classes. The same could be applied to others, how men and women have distinct differences. One gender is allowed to speak sweetly with nicknames like sweetheart or honey, toning and flowing their words without worry. But the opposite gender might not be able to do so in certain environments. I mean, when was the last time you ever hear men call each other as babe?
It's so funny. You guys seem to all it. I apologize, man. We didn't mean to talk so much during the lecture. Yes, ma'am. We didn't intend to disrupt your class.
Don't worry. I just want to remind you that we are in class now.
Okay, so their conversation is an example of standard language hierarchy, especially in overt and covert prestige. But what is it? So, standard language hierarchy has three types, including the first one is overt and covert prestige. Overt prestige is where a variance social value is linked to a widely accepted set of norms, while covert prestige is when a positive value is assigned to a variety of language that is within a specific group and refer to behaviors that go against perceived social norms. An example of it is like the one in the video. The second one is dialect. Dialect is a variety of a language spoken by people in a specific region or social group. For example, Cockney in East London. Remember, dialect is not the same as accent. Then the third one is vernacular. Vernacular is the everyday spoken language in relation to society, focusing on the informal language used by a specific group or region. For example, in Indonesia, Indonesian is the official language, but people in Surabaya, their vernacular language is Surabayan.
I didn't see you there either. Oh, where are we going now? I'm going to my club right now. Oh, photography club? Yeah. So, what about the thing that you're working? I kind of give up on that. That's why I go to photography now. Ah, so you're looking for a business change? Yeah, you're right. I guess I need to get going. I'll see you around then. Yeah, I'll see you around. Good luck, girls. Thank you, girl. Thank you.
So my name is Laras and I have internship as an accountant in ABC company for 6 months.
So, in the first video, the way Isla speak reflect a dead and multiplex network. she shared a close ties with Sheira. Laras, on the other hand, with a looser network, adopt more standard language to fit into specific social setting. And this is how social network and sociolinguistic work.
The example from the video is also part of language variation. But what are the types? There are social class, gender, age, region, and context. In example, it is included in context category because they ask students will immediately change their language variation. The example is also included in age category. Like when Isla and Ocha talk each other, they talk with slang and memes, but not with their lectures.
Have you seen that cat in our lobby on our way here?
Yes, I have seen the cat that you mentioned. What about it?
Yeah, it's the black and white cat. I saw several students and the cat was patted by them on my way here.
Did you mean to say that you've seen the cat being patted by other students?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm so sorry. English isn't my first language, but I really appreciate your knowledge.
Okay, so their conversation is one example of interactional sociolinguistic. But what is interactional sociolinguistic? There are two types of interactional sociolinguistics. The first one is linguistic competence. Linguistic competence is what people know about grammar in their heads. Then the second one is linguistic performance. So linguistic performance is how people actually use language in real life, including mistakes, hesitations, and others. From the conversation between Isla and Sheira, it is one example of the application of linguistic competence and linguistic performance. And from their conversation, we can analyze that Isla applies linguistic competence and Sheira applies linguistic performance. When Isla, who applies linguistic competence, has a conversation with wrong grammar, then Sheira, who applies linguistic performance, immediately corrects the wrong grammar.
In sociolinguistics, identity cannot be separated from language because it is useful not only to convey thoughts and ideas to a broader audience, but the audience may also gain a hint of the speaker's origin. If you add a speech particles like haya or lo, people will assume that you are Singaporean. If you use la or lo, you are either Malaysian or Indonesian. However, if you overuse po in every sentence, people will know that you are Filipino. Or maybe, in a different case, you apply a different phonetic rule and therefore pronounce things differently. In that case, language is used as an identity marker, where people can automatically know that you are not a native speaker, or that you might come from a different background. By using language to shape expressions, speakers gain a sense of agency and control over how they style themselves. This proves that language and identity are not only used as groupings, but also as connection. You are encouraged by the identity and language you have, as it can create a community with other similar people. Perhaps through slang words, similar humor, inside jokes, and so on and so forth.
A journal from Ganesha Education University made by Kadek Christine Karina Dewi titled Chosen Language by Indonesians in Their Daily Life, a case study of Gaul language and Malay language, brought a question of how the phenomenon of sociolinguistic change happened to Indonesians and the language they use in their daily life. From then, we can learn that Indonesian society would use language that fits a narrative in their life. That includes picking up interactions between friends, family, and adults around them, as well as the influence of the internet and social network sites that helps these slang develop.
Have you guys ever heard of the new food in the cafeteria? What do you think?
The chicken one, is it?
Yeah, it's the rice and chicken one.
Huh? How much is it? I can't remember, but I think it's around 10,000 rupiah.
Oh, Do you think it's worth it for that price?
No, I don't think it's worth it.
Why? Is it delicious?
The sambal, sambal, it's too salty. I don't like it.
Oh.
Yeah, I like my sambal spicy as well.
Yeah.
Salty just doesn't suit well.
Free.
Yeah. Would you ever try it, Laras?
No, I think I wouldn't because it's pricey for me.
Oh,
Yeah, for that price, it's not really worth it.
yeah, the sambal is salty.
Before we get into the topic of sociolinguistics of multilingualism, let me give a brief refresher on what bilingualism and multilingualism are. Both of these terms refers to people who are able to understand, apply, and communicate fluently in more than one language within the correct context. The only difference between these two terms are located in how many languages they can master, with bilingualism being 2 languages and multilingualism between more than 2 languages. Sociolinguistics of multilingualism explores how multiple languages are used, maintained, and interact within societies. It considers the linguistic diversity for individuals and societies, such as how multilingualism impacts identity, social status, and power dynamics. The most common examples are diglossia, code mixing, code switching, and translanguaging. Diglossia refers to the usage of 2 language varieties for different social functions. High varieties are used for more formal contexts, while low varieties are used for more informal, casual contexts. Code mixing is the act of switching to another language in the same sentence, usually only 1 or 2 words, while code switching is done in a single utterance or between sentences. We will now see a lovely example by my fellow group members on this phenomenon.
Jadi jelas. Kemarin tuh ke mall and I found this beautiful necklace.
Hah? Iya tak? How much?
I think it's around 30,000 rupiah.
Murah banget, Pak.
See, it's very cheap, but I like it so much. So, well, see, it's a yes in Italian.
Oh, I see.
Next, we have translanguaging. The term first emerged in the 1980s when St. Williams and his colleague came up with the term "trosietse" to describe reading or hearing input in one language and writing or speaking about it in another. The term was then translated into English as translanguaging by their colleague Colin Baker. A study by Ofelia Garcia in 2009 focusing on bilingualism in education defined translanguaging as an act performed by bilinguals where they access different linguistic features in order to maximize their communicative potential. In a nutshell, it is when someone communicates by mixing different languages depending on the context to better deliver their message, without losing what the speaker initially means. She then elaborated in a 2017 study alongside Sarah Vogel that the theory of translanguaging relies on the conceptualization of bilingualism as dynamic. The study argued that rather than juggling between 2 interdependent language systems, these individuals use one somatic system that integrates various linguistic features, in addition to the social practices and features that the individual embody internally and externally that became part of their bodily memory. Those linguistic and communicative features are learned dynamically through an individual's experiences or activities in the physical and social world. This is especially useful when describing bilinguals' language practices, because from an external perspective they appear to be code switching between 2 separate languages. From an internal perspective, however, bilingual's flexible and fluid use of language is recognized as going beyond the socially constructed boundaries of named languages, and is thus termed translanguaging.
Yep, that's our explanation of what sociolinguistics is. Hope you guys learned something from this video, and see you all next time!